Hello everyone, and thank you so much for joining me for today's class. Today we are going to look into ECTD Module 1, which is related to the regional and of course international requirements and administrative documents. What we're going to see today and talk about is about ICH M4, which is again the guidance document from the International Council of Harmonization, where you can find the information on their website at ich.org. So when we talk about ICH M4, we are talking about the documents, guidance documents that are posted on ich.org website in section M, standing for multidisciplinary. And when I'm talking about ICH M4, I'm talking about the requirements in order to prepare a submission package for the registration of a drug, or in the CTD or Common Technical Document format. So today we're also going to look into not only Module 1 in general, but also the requirements for different regions such as FDA, EMA, and PMDA, which is standing for Pharmaceutical and Medical Devices Agency of Japan. The topics that we're going to cover today are the following. We are going to look at the ECTD pyramid. Then we are going to look into the ICH M4, talking about the organization of the ECTD. We are going to examine the Module 1 requirements. And then we are going to look into several important points related to the CTD Module 1 and the regional table of contents for 3 regions: USA, so FDA, European Union, so EMA, and for Japan, so PMDA. And then we are going to end this lecture with a summary. This slide is representing the structure of the Common Technical Document, or CTD, as per ICH M4. So here we can look into the pyramid starting by looking into the top of the triangle, which is the regional administrative information in Module 1. Then we can see that we also have other modules, such as Module 2, for the quality overall summary, non-clinical overview, non-clinical summary, clinical overview, and clinical summary. So all of these different types of information will have to be in Module 2. In Module 3, we will have to add information and documents and forms that we may have related to the quality. So here we talk about the chemistry and manufacturing and control related documents. And we're talking about several types of documents such as certificate of analysis or calibration documents or tests, etc., etc. In Module 4, we will have to add non-clinical study reports. And in Module 5, we will need to add clinical study reports. Obviously, we are not just going to dump all of the documents in one folder. We have within this CTD format a structure that we call modules. It's modular. Those modules are like folders. For example, for Module 1, we will have to create a folder. We'll call that M1. For Module 2 through Module 5, we will have to create folders. We are going to call them M2 through M5. So at the end, when you're looking into, again, in practice, the structure of a CTD, you're going to see 5 folders. We call them modules, and these are folders M1 to M5. And obviously, inside, we're not just going to add all of the files with no organization. We're going to create several subfolders. We call them submodules, and each folder or subfolder is going to be the placeholder for a specific document. This means that you're going now to have Module 1, Submodule 1, Module 1, Submodule 2, Module 1, Submodule 3, and you can now also add submodules. This can go down to 5 levels of granularity. It means that we are going to have modules that will be called M11121, for example. So you see, these are 5 levels of granularity. And in each of those submodules, we will have to add a specific document or form. Now, what are those forms and specific documents that we're going to add into this, type of structure? We will have to refer to ICH M4 because ICH M4 and its I would say, documents are going to tell us exactly what type of document we have to add into those subfolders. Now, you may say here why we are saying that on the top of this pyramid, we have the top triangle as a non-part of the CTD, and the remaining module 2 to 5, these are all part of the CTD. That's because the original, I would say, administrative information for module 1 is depending on what each country is asking from the pharmaceutical companies. This is why, for example, we are going to have a very comprehensive set of modules and submodules for FDA requirements for the structure of M1 CTD for FDA. We will have specific requirements for EMA, where you're going to prepare a marketing authorization application to send to, again, the European Union, to EMA, and then they need that we follow their specific structure of module 1. We may also say how it works for Japan, for example. For PMDA, we are going to prepare a JNDA, or Japanese New Drug Application, for example, and that Japanese New Drug Application will have to be in CTD format. So module 2 to 5 are the same as, again, New Drug Application in the US or MAA in Europe. However, module 1 for the JNDA is going to be different from the module 1 for an MAA in Europe, or the module 1 structure for a New Drug Application or NDA in the USA. Now, let's review the module 1. This module 1 is not necessarily the module 1 for all of the countries. That's exactly what I was just talking in the previous slides, where we have the module 1. We also have, of course, for example, the submodule 1, which is now, for example, you have module 1, which is the correspondence. Then you have module 101, which is where you have to put the cover letter in that folder or in that submodule. Then we have, for example, 103, copy of Health Canada issued correspondence. So we see that this is the module 1 required by Health Canada. Then we have a table of content. We have module 1.2, administrative information, module 121, application form. This is where we're going to put the form HSC 3011 for Health Canada. Of course, this form is now filled out online, but still, you still have some training, of course, I would say courses where we are given the form 3011 to complete that just for the sake of training. And then you have, for example, 127, and again it goes on with all of the structure of the, I would say, the entire structure of all of the submodules in module 1. Now you may say, where do we get this structure? For Health Canada, which is the one that we are seeing, you will have to go to Health Canada website, and you will have to search for the CTD module 1 for again, Health Canada. And then you're going to see in a web page, you're going to be able to look into the requirements of Health Canada. They also give you, again, a guidance document on how you're going to prepare module 1. Now, if you would like to look into how you prepare for in other countries the same module, you will have to go to the website of the regulatory authorities for that specific country. So you cannot use module 1 structure in Canada for FDA, nor for Japan, nor for Europe, nor for any other country. Each country has its own requirements for module 1. Now let's go over the module 1 as per ICH M4. So when you look at the module 1 for ICH M4, you're going to see on the top left, of course, of the slide, you can see that this is related, I mean, what we are saying is the slide related to the M4, and the M4 is the Common Technical document. However, this document has been again used by FDA in order to write another guidance document that we call M4 Organization of the Common Technical Document for the Regulation of Pharmaceutical for Human Use, which is a guidance for industry, but written by FDA. And here, FDA is going to write or give us information related to the structure of Module 1 of our submissions in CTD format to FDA. Here, for example, what we can see is the ICH M4 from ICH, not from FDA. And here we see that in module, when we are looking into the guidance document from ICH, we see that in module 1, it states that this will depend, of course we have a table of content, but it will depend on the requirements from each country. This is why when we refer to ICH M4, Module 1 is not there. I mean, it is there, but it states that we will need to refer to websites of regulatory authorities in each country to which we are planning to prepare our CTD and to submit it to them. So we have to prepare the Module 1 of the CTD based on the regulatory requirements of a specific country. Now let's go over Module 1 and Table of Contents. Of course, I'm going to look into selected points because there are so many documents, and of course we cannot go over that just in a short lecture or even a lecture of 1 or 2 hours. So we're going to look into the US, Europe, and Japan requirements for Module 1. Now, when we look into the USA, we can see that these are documents that they contain a granular listing of all expected sections of modules 1 to 5. Obviously, as I already mentioned, I'm going to focus on module 1, and these are all for applications are used for investigational new drug or IND and for new drug applications or NDA. Obviously, we also have supplementary new drug applications. We also have abbreviated new drug applications, but they're all different submissions that we can create and submit to FDA for in the USA. Now, don't forget that not every heading is applicable to all submissions. So we will have placeholders for several types of submissions in one CTD structure. So in Module 1, we are going to see several, again, placeholders or sub-modules. But if you are preparing an IND, you will not have necessarily the use for a few of those placeholders or sub-modules to add your documents because they don't apply. However, we still have a template, I would say the original or a template format of the structure of the Module 1 for the IND and NDA. They are the same. However, we are going to only use documents that we prepared for a specific application. For example, if you are having a document for IND, you have a set of documents, they are going to be added into specific sub-modules in Module 1. But again, as I already mentioned, not every heading is applicable to all submissions. So you may still have some placeholders or some sub-modules in Module 1 that will remain empty because they don't apply to a specific submission. So when we are going to look into, for example, Module 1, Table of Contents, we can see that we have, for example, Module 1, where we have the forms to add. These forms are coming from FDA website. We have to add a cover letter. We will need also to put in section 1.3 administrative information. We also have under the administrative information or module 1.3 sub-modules. So here we have sub-module 131 where we have contact, sponsor or applicant information, and underneath this sub-module we do have other sub-modules like 1311, 1312, 1313, 4, etc., where each of those sub-modules have a specific name that don't change neither. And within these sub-modules, we are going to add documents related to what is required in each of these sub-modules. And all of those documents are also having a standard for the naming. Then we can see Module 1 again for references. So here we are going to have again submodules 141, 142, etc., where again, like for module 1.3, we will have to use these submodules as placeholders in order to add specific documents related to the name of that submodule. For example, in submodule 141, we are going to add a letter of authorization. The name of that submodule is a letter of authorization, and the document that we're going to add into that submodule is also going to be called letter of authorization. So this applies to all of the documents in your CTD. Now, continuing with again with these modules, we have relevant forms for module 1 of FDA, IND, and NDAs. For example, we have FDA form 1571, 3674 that are specifically for IND. However, if you are preparing forms for new drug application or NDA, you will have to prepare, complete, and of course add forms 356H, for example, or forms 2252 into their respective placeholders or submodules. For example, in module 111, called application form, we are going to add FDA forms 1571 and the forms, again, FDA 3674. So these forms need to be added into the application form in module 111. If now you're having, again, preparing an NDA, you will have to complete the form FDA 356H, which is the application form. And don't forget, we also have another important form, which is the user fee, which is a user fee cover sheet. And here we will need, of course, to have FDA form 3397. So if you would like to know more about each and every of these forms, obviously you can always refer to the guidance for industry prepared by FDA, the one that I showed you in the previous slide. And of course, you can always refer to ICH M4 when you are looking into module 2 to 5. But as we know, today we're going to look into the structure of module 1. This is why we only refer to, again, module 1 and submodules 1. So where you're going to find FDA forms, you have just to go to this website, or of course you can search again through a search engine in order to find out where are the FDA forms. Don't forget that any regulatory affairs professional is going to always refer to regulatory affairs authorities' websites, because forms can also, like guidelines as well, they may be updated, they may be changed, the versions may change as well. So we always want to make sure that we are using the latest version of any form. Now it applies to FDA, it applies to Health Canada in Canada, it applies to any country where you are going to prepare your CTD. Now, continuing with, again, USA, we can also, of course, talk about the user fee. So here, for example, you will need to access the form 3397 so that you can pay FDA for processing your application. It applies, obviously, to the INDs and all of the series of NDAs, such as ANDAs or SNDAs, etc. Now, this is an example of a form 1571 that we use for an IND. This form has 3 pages. Usually the first 2 pages we complete them, and you also have again a form, or I would say a page, where it gives you the instructions. So this form must be completed and then must be added into module 1.1.1. The same applies to other forms as well. Here, for example, we are looking into the form 356H, which is the application for a new drug application. So here we understood that it has to go to a different submodule when we are preparing our new drug application to submit to FDA in CTD format. So this is, of course, this form goes in a submodule in module 1. Here, of course, we can talk again with the continuation of the form 356H. So here, as you see, the third page, it has to be completed as well and to be signed. And as I already explained, or stated, we can also, we will have also a form on how to complete these forms. You always have forms, and you always have instructions to complete these forms. Now, talking about the cover letters. For the cover letters, there is a format that you can find on FDA website, and the format is exactly what you can see here. So you have to put your logo, the company, your company address as well, and then if, for example, you have an IND number, you will have to add the IND number here as well, and then you will have to follow the format or the template that has been posted by FDA. So we're going to complete that cover letter that we're also going to add into a specific subfolder in CTD structure. Now here we can talk about the IND mapping section, and what you can see on the left of the table, you can see the Code of Federal Regulation or CFR citation or source. And then you will see in the consequent columns, you will see the title of the document as well as the place of that document, so which is in module 1, and then the sub-modules. So you can see, for example, for the cover sheet, FDA Form 1571 for IND, you will have to put that in module 1, in sub-module 1, so it's 1.1, and the format is a form. We can continue, for example, again, for the certification of compliance, Form FDA 3674, the Code of Federal Regulation, or the source here, the source is FDAAA. Here it has to be prepared and completed and added into submodule 1.1. Now that's the same philosophy, I would say, or the principle follows for any other document. You can now look into at the bottom of this page, for example, this table. I also talk about the Code of Federal Regulation. This is Title 21, CFR 312.23b. This is a written statement of authorization for references, so a copy of LOA received from DMF holders. These are drug master files. Here, for example, it has to go to module 1, and the submodules is 142. And here it must be a statement of right of reference. Now, the same thing applies now to new drug application and BLA or biological licensing application for FDA. And here in this table, we can see again the same table as the previous one, where we can see at the left a column related to the case, a Code of Federal Regulation citation or the source of the document. And then you have the title of the document, and then the placement of that document in each module and in each sub-module. So here for the NDA and BLA, we are talking about completing the Form 356H, 3397, 3392, 2252, 2253, etc. For each of those, they all have to be completed and added into module 1.1. And then we also have the titles of each of those documents, as well as the Code of Federal Regulation that is requiring or asking us to prepare these. And again, I repeat that this is for a new drug application or BLA, biological license application, that we are going to prepare in CTD format, and we are going to plan to send it to FDA, because FDA Module 1 structure is the one that we see in front of us. If you wanted to do the same in Canada or in Japan, in Europe, or any other country, in this case, you had to look into the structure of Module 1, which is not necessarily the same as in FDA. Now here, coming back to, again, the same train of thought, we have been looking into different modules and submodules for Module 1. So here, we are continuing with the table of contents and the granularity. So here, we have module 1.5. So here, this is related to the application status. So now we are talking about IND. So if again you're applying for an NDA, in this case some of these subfolders or submodules are going to stay empty. So for example, if you're applying for a new drug application, your submodule 151 is going to be empty. However, your module, submodule 155 is, I mean, if applicable, of course, it will now contain some documents. So as you see, the CTD structure is helping us, I would say, is used as a placeholder in a very specific way, and a specific way in order to prepare and to manage our documentation for the submission of the applications for the drug registrations. Now, the same principle applies to module 1.6, where we are having meetings. So any information or documents related to meeting requests goes to module 161. Any information about meeting background materials, it will go to module 162. Correspondence regarding the meeting goes to module 163. And again, this is for module 1, table of contents for FDA. Now, FDA offers 4 pathways to help expedite drug development, review, and approval. Here we can talk about the fast track, breakthrough designation, accelerating approval, and priority review. So here, of course, if you would like to know more about those accelerated pathways, you can always search or go, again on search engines, or go to the FDA website and access the fast track, breakthrough therapy, accelerated approval, and priority review documents on their website. Now, continuing with module 1, table of content of the FDA, you will have several other submodules, such as 1.8 for the special protocol assessment request. Now we understand that this is for an IND. Pediatric administrative information, here it may affect, of course, IND and the NDA. Dispute resolution, it can be both applications. 1.11 information amendment and information not covered under module 2 to 5. Again, here it may be related to the quality information amendment, non-clinical information amendment, clinical information amendments, and multiple module information amendments. And you also have another section, another submodule for other correspondence with FDA. And then we can continue with the same principle, looking into different submodules of module 1 of the CTD required by FDA. We can have other submodules on labeling, on promotional materials, and on risk management plan, in addition to post-marketing studies, proprietary names, and of course pre-EUA and EUA and general investigational plan for initial IND. Now, in summary, we understood that the comprehensive table of contents, headings, and hierarchy version 2.31 is critically important. So it includes a granular list of headings and all sections. So it also has appendices that map the IND and NDA. In the US, your IND application to FDA is the first eCTD submission you will make, and it is the earliest form of your NDA. Now, you can think of it like IND evolves into your NDA as you gather more and more evidence about your drug, and that you must again have an active IND in the US to conduct clinical trials in the USA. Now, approaching to again the European Medicines Agency, we can now compare the modules, I would say the principles of the modules or the document that we need in between US and EU, European Union. For example, in the US, we need to have an application form 356H. In the European Union, they have another form, very similar for the content, but not identical to, again, the application form for US, which is called application form. In the US, we have a proposed label. In Europe, we call that a summary of product characteristics. For example, in Canada, we call that document a product monograph. Now in the US, we need to have a patent certification or information. We also need a debarment certificate. We need a letter of authorization or LOA, and of course, or a DMF or drug master file level, and we need to have the labeling text. While again, the identical information is not required for European Union, they are similar information. Sometimes they have different names for the documents or different names for the forms. However, the content is there. So in Europe, for example, we have labeling text and mock-ups. That's a document. We have a document on information about the experts. Another document related to environmental risk assessment. That's what we also have in Health Canada requirements for in Module 1 for Health Canada. And then for Europe, we have description of the pharmacovigilance system. And they also need to put the risk management plan for, again, the safety profile of the drug. So as you see again, we are, all of these countries, these regions, they are looking into very similar information related to the safety, efficacy, and quality of the products. However, the way or the placeholders or the name of documents are not the same, or the forms. However, again, the information is there. So any regulatory affairs professional has access to a document, but any RA professional will need to go to the specific website of that country or a country and then to look into what documents are needed, how they are, the information will be again communicated with the regulatory agency of that country, what are the forms, because again they may not be the same names or the same I would say format of the forms, but the information is very similar. Now, continuing with the EMA also has guidance documents. So any regulatory authority professional will need to go to the EMA website and then search for the guidance documents, in, of course, for the purpose of this lecture, related to the structure of Module 1 of the CTD. Now, in those documents, of course, we can always look into different specifications. Again, these are specifications that are related to the European specifications. And now, continuing with that, for example, we can see that for Module 1 for the European Union, for the CTD, we have, again, the Module 1, which is the cover letter. That Module 1, or the cover letter, is related or equivalent to section 1.2 or module 1.2 in the CTD module 1 of FDA. So again, we ask for the same information, but the name or the sub-modules are not necessarily the same. Or for example, we have in module 1.1 the comprehensive table of contents. This is the same for both regions. But for the application, a form 1.2, obviously, it may not apply to the same. Or for example, for the module 1.3, we have the product information. In module 1 of CTD structure for FDA, this is related to module 1.14. And of course, it will always continue. Now, for example, we can see again for the module or submodule 131 in the European Union, we want the SPC or the summary of product characteristics, labeling, and package leaflet. In the module 1 of the again of the CTD for FDA, we are looking into the label. Okay, we don't ask for a summary of product characteristics. Even if both documents have very similar content, the distribution or the template of the document or requirements to write their labeling or the summary of product characteristics in Europe are not the same, so we may not have the same formatting in the documents. And of course, we may also have some additional requirements for adding more information related to the safety, efficacy, or quality of the product in any of those regions. Now, when we look into the module 1 table of content for EMA, we can see again that we are having an administrative, again, information application form. We also have a guidance document from EMA. This is what we see. And this may be for any centralized or decentralized, I would say, process for submitting a marketing authorization application, or MAA. Now, continuing with EMA, we can see that, for example, in module 156, we have exceptional circumstances, which is not the one that we have in the module 1 of CTD for FDA. Or, for example, for module 1.6 environmental risk assessment, the same applies. Don't forget that, for example, for Health Canada in module 1, we do have a similar sub-module where we are going to again ask for pharmaceutical companies to add some documentation related to environmental risk assessment. Now, for module 1.8, 1.9, and 1.10, we have information relating to pharmacovigilance, which is new, related to FDA requirements for module 1 of CTD. However, for 1.9 and 1.10 again, they are very similar to, again, FDA requirements. Now, here we are going to look into the Japanese module 1 table of content. PMDA is the Pharmaceutical and Medical Devices Agency of Japan, and when we are looking into the drug submission, or registration, we are talking about Japanese NDA, or Japanese New Drug Application. And here in Japan, again, as per ICH M4, they decided that they are going just to create one form, which is the application form, and that application form is going to be added into module 1. As easy and as simple as it seems. So that they're going to, of course, have an application form where their companies are going to add lots of information, mainly related to the quality of the product, and of course, information about the safety and efficacy. And then they're going to add that into the application form that they're going to add into module 1. So here we are looking into the table of contents. So within the application form, just one document, which is a large document, pharmaceutical companies are going to add the product name, the ingredients, and again, contents or excipients, manufacturing process, dosage and administrative indications, storage and shelf life, specifications and testing methods, manufacturing sites, etc. So all of the information is already in module 2 through 5, because Japan also follows the ICH guidelines, and they also follow the structure of a CTD for module 2 to 5. However, structure of CTD for module 1 is regional, and Japan decided to ask for just any company, a pharmaceutical company, to complete an application form, which is again a very large and big document for the content in module 1. So here again, just talking about the application form, which is a comprehensive application form for module 1 for the Japanese CTD, we can see that that's a very dense document. It has chemistry and manufacturing and control related documents. It also duplicates much of module 2, submodule 3, which is quality overall summary of the product. So in summary, module 1 is the region-specific administrative cover page of the CTD. Module 1 in the US and Europe is similar, with some structural differences and minor region-specific content differences. So FDA includes forms. EMA has the online application form, which is like the FDA form 356H. I also talked briefly about Canadian form HSC 3011, which is also completed online. Now coming back to the summary, so module 1 in Japan is predominantly comprised of the application form, which is a CMC heavy document that is markedly different from Module 1 content in the US and EU. Elements of the Japanese new drug application form are also contained in Module 2 and 3. So while Module 1 remains regional, all regions that have formally adopted ECTD at this stage continue to work to harmonize its content, so Module 2 through Module 5 are harmonized and they're applicable to all of the regions. So thank you so very much for your attendance, and I wish you all a very good day. Here, of course, is the list of references.